Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here once again with another Sunday night evening of How to Win at Business. And tonight I have a friend, a new internet friend that her name is so complicated she doesn't even use it. Her real name is Nicolene Jaramillo. Okay, Nikki, can you help me with that?
You said it right, Joe.
Yeah.
It's Jaramillo.
Yes. Really? Wow. Yes. That was just luck. That was just luck. So anyway, I was just playing with you. Welcome everybody. I was just trying to play with my new friend Nikki here because that's what I like to do. If you're new here and you just stumbled on us, my name is Joe DeChara. I am a CPA serial entrepreneur, and I like to have fun with my business. And I like to help people make their business simple, fun, and profitable. How does that sound, Nikki?
Joe, I love that. I do go by Nickel though.
Nickel. Oh, Nickel. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm probably not the only one that you see what I said, folks, about her name, you know.
So I think having fun with your business is important. It is what we do, right? I mean, the whole point in going into business for ourselves is so that we can be passionate about what we do and enjoy our daily life. So having fun is part of that passion.
Well, for people like us, Nickel, for people like us, and I look for people like you that have that kind of mindset, because when I came out of school, my passion was to be an entrepreneur and make $1 billion. That was it. That was my passion, to make money. And that didn't work out too well for me. I mean, I made the money, but there was always something, the passion, it just wasn't, there was something missing. Could you relate to that?
I can absolutely relate to that. For me, going into business for myself and being an entrepreneur, being somebody that's focused in that space, it's about helping others, right? Success is individual and personal to every individual. And I believe that our success is defined by the way we want to define it and not necessarily by what society has told us success is. It's not about the car you drive. It's not about the position title you have or the dollars you have in your bank. It's about your passion, your dreams, your desires. Are you living the best version of yourself?
And I have one question. Why don't they have that course in college? Why didn't have the passion course?
College, high school. Why not teach our high school students about that, right? I have 4 children, and the one thing that I've always told them is that they have to follow their dreams. They have to go after what they want, and they have to seek what makes them happy. Because I don't care if they're lawyers, doctors, janitors, teachers, they have to do what makes them happy.
And that's pretty hard, so you still have, I think, a teenager, right?
I have 2 teenagers, yes.
I'm still trying to figure out, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole nother story. But I believe, I was told follow your dreams, but it wasn't tied to like helping people. Helping people was charity. You know what I'm saying? Helping people was, donations, goodwill. So anyway, let's, what's your background? I know you weren't an entrepreneur your whole life.
So I actually do consider myself an entrepreneur my whole life. I've not been a small business owner my whole life. Okay. I have always through college, and through high school and college, I looked at things, about helping people. Where was that space I wanted to be in? What was it I wanted to be doing? But my background predominantly is in psychology with an emphasis on clothing and textiles as I went through my bachelor's degree. And then my master's degrees, I moved into management and leadership and industrial organizational psychology, where I focused on change behaviors and understanding how to help people feel motivated and guide their path and build themselves up as leaders. And I've been able to practice those skills and hone them with a career in the Army. I retired from the Army in 2016, and then I joined Ernst & Young as a change management and strategic communications consultant in November of 2016. So I've been doing that since then.
Oh, okay. I think you left out that little detail when we spoke. I had not. So you actually have a job still.
I do, yes. I have a job. So I work with Ernst & Young, which is what happened the other night. I ended up doing a project for my job, my daytime job, and missed our original scheduled interview.
Okay. I had no idea. So that Ernst & Young, I grew up with them. One of the biggest accounting firms in the world.
Right. So that's interesting, right? It's an accounting firm. Like we all know, like when I was growing up, I knew them as the accounting firm, right? But they have this whole branch of services. Their mission, their vision in life is to build a better working world. And they do this one client at a time. And so they have this whole branch of advisory and performance improvement, change management, and services that they offer to their clients that have nothing to do with accounting, which really surprised me when they called me and recruited me.
Well, I'm not surprised because, as an accountant and you're doing, handling somebody's books, you see everything that's going on with the business. So a lot of the big firms, they all set up other like business advisory divisions and all kinds of different divisions. So, and I sort of do the same thing on a small scale. I'll do business coaching, I'll do, problem solving projects. But that's interesting that you're in that space. And that's a great way to start a business. Let me tell you, because having that steady paycheck while you build your foundation,
yes,
is important.
Very important.
So you have the Army background, you got leadership skills, you have credentials like off the charts that I didn't realize about. Okay. So now we're on the same page. So now you want to throw it all away and start a business.
I don't think I'm throwing it all away. I like to think that I'm taking all of my experience and knowledge and those credentials and giving back to a world that gave me opportunity, right? So I like to look at it as every person that I touch or every person that I get to work with has an opportunity to learn from my experience, take the skills and the tools that I provide to them and apply them to their own life to maybe create a path that's not quite so circular or divergent from where they want to be, right? Because getting to success, managing your transformation, achieving your dreams doesn't just happen, and it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to have some kind of roadmap. It doesn't have to be lockstep. It doesn't have to be step 1, step 2, step 3, but you have to know where you're going. Where am I today? Where do I want to be tomorrow? What are the gaps? What are those things that I have to do to help myself fill those gaps? Because that's how you achieve your success.
You just like mirrored. You were in the mastermind group yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So John, basically, so what I heard you say was basically what John said about a marketing campaign.
Yes.
Because when you think about it, it's like, when you think about what is the end result, right? And where are you now? That's what you can do. You can assess, okay, this is where we are now, right? And this is where we have to go, and where do we have to fill the holes, right?
Right.
So you can create the right sequence. So let's get a little bit more specific. Who are you looking to do this for?
So I do this with two general groups of people right now. I work with veterans a lot of the time in helping them with their transformation as they transition from active service to civilian careers, or with their spouses as they're starting to reshape that next chapter in their life. And that I do all pro bono. I work with the veterans pro bono. Having been in that space and gone through that myself, I understand the struggle. And then with entrepreneurs, I don't want to say business owners specifically because it's not just for business owners. I believe that you can be an entrepreneur and you can work in a company like Ernst & Young. So it comes down to working with entrepreneurs who know that they're in this place right now, in this moment, and they want to be somewhere over there or somewhere down the path in the next 5 to 10 years. How do they do that? How do they get there? What are they missing? Do they need to go to school? Do they need to build new networks? What connections do they need to make? And we create what I call deliberate action plans. And I help them as a coach, I become their accountability partner. I help them define what that looks like and then hold them accountable to meet their steps. You said this week or this month that you were going to achieve these things. Did you achieve those things? If you didn't achieve those things, why not? What got in the way? What were the challenges? Have you changed your mind? Did you reassess and look at this and you want to go a different direction? And so I work with them to talk through those things.
Yeah. That's powerful. Accountability is a powerful, what would you call it? Provoker, motivator. Because I know I have a coach and I'm looking at my homework. And, the last thing I want to do is have my meeting and say, oh, I didn't do this.
Right.
So how do you have a system? Do you just, how do you go about it?
So I do have a system. I have adopted it from the Army's targeting process. Right. So in the Army, we use D3 alpha for targeting. Decide, detect, deliver, assess. So it's a 4-step process. I have modified that process through my graduate studies into a 4-step process, which I call D4 alpha, where we describe the current environment. Where are you today? What does today look like? And what are all of the variables that exist? Then we do 2nd step, which is define. We define what we want the future to look like. We identify the gaps. We kind of do a SWOT analysis and really get a good feeling for where strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, those things are. As we move from that step, we go into the develop step. And this is where we start to create the action plan. We actually say, well, step 1 is going to be this. Step 2 is going to be this. We lay timelines down to everything. We set up each of the actions with measurable components so that we know they can measure success. My clients can measure their success with every action that they take. Because the key to moving forward, the key to getting to where you want to be is to be in action. Then we deliver. Now it's actually executing on those action steps, right? Doing those things. And we assess each step of the way. Each time something takes place or each time something doesn't take place, we go through an assessment process and we look at what the plan says. Okay, I was supposed to do this week and I didn't do it. Why didn't I do it? Well, I didn't do it specifically this way, but maybe I did it this way. And so we adjust that plan because a plan is a living, breathing document. It's not something that we create and put on a shelf and leave it sit. You have to interact with it. You have to be one with what your plan is and help yourself continue to move forward with it.
Yeah. I was just going to say exactly that. I'm with you 1,000%. I'm like, oh my God, I think this woman's been reading my mind. It's a step, and this is, it's not brain surgery when you think about it. I'm listening to you, and you're describing like a chess match to me. I'm like,
Yes.
I see all the moving pieces, and then you got to, and that's what entrepreneurship is.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like it's you got to keep moving, and it's almost like it was like I actually envision a business as like, what do they call it when you're doing the command center? All those World War II movies where they got the big table with the map and they see.
Or the war game.
Right.
War gaming. Yes. The war gaming. Yes.
And sometimes I actually envision a business like that. I'm like, where are all the pieces? What are we trying to accomplish? Not like I'm trying to kill people. I'm just trying to, but there is
Joe,
like.
Life is a war game. Life is a war game. It is completely about what are my options? If I do this action and this occurs, how am I going to respond to it? If I take this action and this occurs, how am I going to respond to it? And it's contingency planning, right? It's understanding that if I go do this and I get this result, then I have to do this subsequently. Or if I do this and I get this result, now I get to move to this next phase because it took me further than I wanted it to take me. And so it's
Right.
understanding how those pieces come together to create your bigger whole.
So I'm going to try to segue this into why entrepreneurs need to connect with you. Okay? Because the plight of the entrepreneur, this is what happens, because I've seen it thousands of times, besides doing it myself probably hundreds of times. Okay, we get an idea and we go with it. It's like, this is going to change the world. Okay, you get all excited. You get one person to buy into it. And then it's forget about planning. You're just now you're building your website, you hire marketing experts. That's what we do.
Right. Well, Paul talked about that yesterday in the mastermind too, right? With his ACT, his ACT process, right? Because he said that everybody gets into that creative space, that second space, and they forget to do their analysis up front. They forget to sit and look at, well, what's the saturation in the environment? Who's already doing this? How am I different from the other 10 people doing the same thing that I'm doing? What am I going to offer that somebody else isn't going to offer? And that's a hard thing to sit down and look at, right? Because you've got friends, you've got family that are telling you you've got this great idea, you're the next great Bronson, you're the next great Jay Shetty, whatever the case may be. And you're like, wait, what am I doing? How I can do this. I'm going to jump out there and I'm going to do it. But you forget to understand the space that you're working in. And that's something I struggled with, right? As I was retiring from the Army in 2016, I met Haley. And Haley and I met in 2015, and we worked together for about 18 months as I built my original DN strategy solutions, and I was working on that business. But I landed in a space where I didn't necessarily want to be. I was working solely with veterans. I was trying to help them write resumes. I was helping them build their LinkedIn pages. If they were setting up businesses, I was helping them set up businesses. I was building websites. I was building memes. I was building communication strategies. And I was all over the map because I didn't understand my own differentiator. I didn't know what it was I was trying to accomplish.
Wait a second. It sounds like you needed to hire yourself. Seriously,
Exactly.
all the time this happens.
Yes, yes.
I'm like, wait a second. You just told me what I tell all of my clients, and I'm paying you to tell me this.
Right. So
but isn't that funny?
I learned it, right? I mean, it's and I've come back in January of this year, I came back into starting my own business and starting to build up my coaching path again. I'm doing it slow. I'm not interested in going from 0 to 100 overnight. I don't want that type of success. I'm not looking for the easy path. So what I've been really focused on the last 6-7 months is building my network, because I want to be an EY on a small scale, like you said, right? I know where my niche is and I know what I offer. I can offer transformation. I can offer change. I can help you communicate with yourself, with your organization, what it is you're trying to do. But I need to have you in my network circle. I need to have Haley in my network circle, right? Because now I'm not an accountant. I'm going to send them to my network circle to go get accounting support. And I'm going to do it with the people that I'm associated with because I know their products, I know their services, and I know what they offer my clients. So that's where I'm focused.
That's what, and we both do things, and what I was, getting into the whole thing about, because that's what, listen, when I can get paid for something, if there's no better, I mean, that's what we do this for.
Right.
Right. I get somebody to pay me for a service that I provided them. and you want to keep doing that and keep doing it. So you want to keep getting bit. That's exciting. Doing
Yep.
your bookkeeping or sitting down and strategizing, what we do isn't that exciting. Let's face it. And I understand that. I was like, wait a second. I understand that bookkeeping. Yeah, it's not exciting, but unfortunately, you signed up to run a business. There's no option. So you could wing it like most people do, or you could connect with somebody like Nickel. I almost called you Nikki again. But so how do people connect with you? How do they get the ball rolling?
So they can reach out to me on my LinkedIn page. I'm at linkedin.com/in/Nickel J. Very simple. Or my Nichols Niche landing page, my business page on LinkedIn, which Joe said he would share in the remarks below.
I will share it. But okay, so I went out of order here. This is your the page for the WEN summit that we're both speaking at.
Yes, I am doing.
That's one way to connect with you. Where do I have that?
Yep.
So this is your page. You can actually go there and you could sign up under Nichols' thing. I don't know what that means exactly because it's a 3-day event. We got all of these speakers, and it's all about building your online business. See, I'm here. I'm talking about Wave apps.
So Joe, I think that this summit that Haley's offering is fabulous, right? I mean, we've got a lineup of speakers over 3 days that is phenomenal. The people speaking at this have been there. They've done that. They are moving themselves forward in ways that they could only begin to imagine. And they're sharing their secrets. They're sharing what made them successful and how they got themselves moving forward. So it's a great opportunity. Even if you're not in the space to go into business for yourself today, this is a great opportunity to make connections and look at ways that you can change your current situation and embrace the way society is today.
Yes, and they can actually connect with you live on, what do you want, Saturday at 2 p.m., right?
Yes.
2 p.m. Eastern, and then I'm on at 4, and then it ends, I think, at 5.
Right. And I'll have my virtual booth going to all 3 days of the event for an hour each day. So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. So people be able to sign up for that also, just to pick your brain and see how they might be able to work with you. Yeah. So Nickel, what I found after working with thousands of people, especially people that just start businesses, at like 6 months to a year, if they haven't connected with somebody like me, somebody like you, and they hit that like entrepreneurial shock, like, what did I get myself into?
Right. That overwhelm, that paralysis.
Right.
Yes.
So they can, they can eliminate all of that pain and suffering by just accepting the fact that you need some kind of strategy.
Yes. And I think that the big thing is, right, people hear business plan, they hear strategy, and they think it's this big, complicated thing. Folks, I use my process in my daily life. I use it all the time. I look at, if I'm deciding if I'm going to take a training event for work, I look at how does it fit with my bigger picture? Do I really want to do it? Is it really what I want to put the time and energy into? Because I have a limited number of resources. I have a limited number of capabilities. And if I want to dedicate those resources somewhere, something else has to give. And so I have to understand how that fits in the bigger picture. And so I use this strategy for myself daily. This is how I have people ask me all the time, how do you do all that you do? I have 4 kids, I have a full-time job, I've got a side hustle, I'm working on my doctorate's degree, I'm writing a book. They're like, how do you do it all? It's because I use my tools to help myself understand where I can put my resources.
So you're living proof that it works.
Yeah, and it's adaptable, right? It gets to flex to you, to who you are, to what you need to do. And sitting with me I like to sit with people for about 6 weeks, because I don't like to do it for much longer than that unless they've got like a long-term change effort going on that they're trying to do. But it's just a tool to help them get started. It's something to give them that baseline, and then they can adopt it and shift it the way they need to for themselves and for their business growth.
Yeah. I think just the fact of having somebody that you could explain what you're trying to do and lay it out, and have somebody else look at it objectively and say, wait a second, because I do it for my clients. My coach does it for me.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, you just saved me like so much pain and suffering.
Haley and I bounce things off of one another all the time. I show Haley my stuff.
Yeah, and Haley's the same thing with me. I talk to her all the time. But, and so she's like a mentor to me. I look at her as a mentor, like somebody I'm not actually paying, but having that person that on a weekly or bi-weekly basis that, like I said, I'm accountable to somebody, and it works. It's not, I don't just tell people to do it. I do it. So,
yep. And
it's important if you want to really, if you're going into business, do it the right way.
Yep.
Don't go into it helter-skelter like I did, and still do sometimes. But thankfully, I have people to I have safety nets.
So, well, we can either build the airplane on the ground before we start flying, or we can build it in flight. I much prefer the concept of building it on the ground before we launch, right? Because at least then.
Yeah, I need somebody like you, because I'll build it from the air. So this has been great, Nickel, and I'm really looking forward to the summit and networking with you some more, and maybe collaborating on some things in the future. And
I look forward to it, Joe. I think we've got wonderful things to come down the pike for us. Yes.
Any words of wisdom?
Just remember that you're in your own space, right? Don't compare yourself to the person next door to you. Don't look at, here's where I am, I should be here because so-and-so's here or so-and-so's here. We all walk in our own shoes. We've all got our own experiences. And if we're going to compare ourselves to anybody, we need to compare ourselves to who we are, where we were 5 days ago.
I love that, because I just did that. I'm like, wow, I accomplished a lot of stuff this week.
Yep.
And now we're going to do it again this week. Thank you. Over and out, everybody. God bless. Thanks for joining, and I will see you soon.